Hmm. Ah, yes. A very good story indeed, yes. Oh, hello. I'm Mr. Jeremy. You may remember me from such shows as You Have a Loser in Your Bed, Atari, The Games That Matter, and other short featured films like Pasta, Why Does It Have to Be Wet? And Ice, The Miracle of Freezing. And now I brought to you by reading. Reading's good for you, and it's fun. It's like a hamburger on a bun. And now I will read to you from this book. Once upon a time, in the merry old land of Oz, there lived a man named Prosciutto. He was quite a ham. He lived in a village not too far away from a place called Gotham. Gotham was filled with interesting characters. One day, Mr. Prosciutto went to this village. He was searching for a job. So he walked into the employment and training resources, where they told him a lot of stuff. The man met a guy named Marco, who looked just like a Larko. And then Larko introduced him to a man named Greg, who had a leg for an arm and an arm for a leg. Greg was a swift man, a very quiet man. Never really said much, didn't really have to. So Prosciutto asked this man, "Can I have a job?" Greg said, "No, you cannot have a job. We're not hiring right now. Please come back again tomorrow." Prosciutto was very angry. He ran to the village. He ran to his house. He sat down on his couch, and then he talked to a mouse. The mouse was very upset. He said to Prosciutto, "Why haven't you left me any cookie crumbs? You've been not eating cookies for days and days," said the mouse. "Don't you know I have a family to feed?" "I have a lot of family," the mouse replied. "Employment, which is federal programs to protect you and your dependents against loss of earnings upon retirement," said the mouse. "Now you go out tomorrow and you get a job." Well, the next day, Prosciutto scurried off into the village once more. And he went up to Greg again. "Greg, I need a job. My house is falling apart. My roof leaks. My sink rusts. My toilet won't stop running. I need a job," said Prosciutto to Greg. "Well, I don't think we have any jobs available at the moment. Perhaps you should come back tomorrow," said Greg. "I will not come back tomorrow! You said that yesterday! How dare you defy me? I come here looking for a job and all you can say is come back tomorrow?" Prosciutto, at this point, was very angry and was waving his fist and shouting at Greg very loudly. Well, Greg looked at him and said, "If you do not stop this shouting, I will call the cops. I will call the cops immediately," says Greg. "I am sorry. I apologize. You see, it is so hard these days to make ends meet." Greg stopped him and said, "Say no more. You come back tomorrow, and I will give you a proper interview. Very well then, said Prosciutto. Prosciutto scampered off back to the village. When he got home, he was very tired. He decided to take a nap. So he took his shoes off and lay down on his couch. The next morning, he woken with a mouse squeezing his nose. He said to the mouse, "Mouse, why do you squeeze my nose? Are you trying to kill me?" And the mouse just laughed and said, "If I was trying to kill you, don't you think I would have just stabbed you with one of the kitchen knives? Now where's my cookie crumbs?" said the mouse. "I do not have cookies today. I didn't even eat myself," said Prosciutto. The mouse then scampered off into his little mouse hole and went home. The next couple hours were very boring for Prosciutto. He couldn't figure out what to do. What is there to do in this boring house? I have no television. I have no radio. I have no cable. And yet, no DVD player, no VCR, no Nintendo, no nothing. "Why don't you get a job?" shouted the mouse, coming out of the hole. "I tried to get a job. I tried twice," the mouse says with anger, shaking his tail back and forth. "How dare you say you've tried twice? You haven't tried at all," said the mouse. Prosciutto said, "Perhaps I should just shoot you in the face. Then you will die. Then you will not starve to death." The mouse scampered back off to his hole with fear, leaving droppings as he went along. Well, it was about 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon at this time. Prosciutto walked off into the village and went where he last saw Greg. Greg, my friend, with a leg for an arm and an arm for a leg. Do you have a job for me?" he says. "Why, yes I do, as a matter of fact," says Greg. "Please, step into my office, and I shall give you an interview." And so he did. He went into Greg's office, where the interview seemed to last for hours. When they were finished, Greg just glanced over him and said, "I will give you a call within a few days and let you know." So he shook his hand, thanked him for his time, and Prosciutto scampered off into the forest. On his way home, he saw a giant. The giant looked at Prosciutto and said, "Fee, fi, fo, dum. I smell the blood of an ugly chum." "Am I this ugly chum?" replied Prosciutto. "Yes, you are. You are very ugly, and you stink of cheese. You will come into my house and take a bath immediately." "But I hardly know you," said Prosciutto. "Yes, but I know you," said the giant. "I have seen you scamper off into this forest many times on your way home. I hear you are looking for a job," said the giant. Prosciutto was shaken with fear. "I will give you a job," said the giant. "When can I start?" said Prosciutto. "Why, you could start today, as a matter of fact. But first, you must take off all your clothes and get into the bathtub. I will not hire a man who is unkept and unclean," said the giant. So Prosciutto proceeded to strip off all his clothes. He started to get into the tub. "Whoa!" Prosciutto said. "This tub is hot. It's like boiling water in here." The giant said with a laugh, "Ha ha ha ha! That is just for your comfort. You cannot get clean with cold water, can you?" said the giant. "Well, I suppose I can't," said Prosciutto. "I will sit in here until I am done, And the giant stroked his beard and said with glare in his eye, "Yes, when you are done." Well, Prosciutto noticed something strange. The giant had gone to his refrigerator, and he had carrots and onions and potatoes and green beans, and he proceeded to throw these things into the tub. Prosciutto just about jumped out of his skin and said, "What the hell are you doing? Why is thou putting thou vegetables into my bath?" Well, we will have to continue the story next time. For as you can see, I am out of time. This is Mr. Jeremy saying so long, everybody. Do 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 do.